The mantra of the Bush School has been service is a noble calling. My father always believed there was nobility in service. You can't imagine the joy that the Bush family has in seeing the fulfillment of a vision that my father had for training people to become of service to others, and to see the Bush School so successfully educate students that are deployed into service in local communities and nonprofit organizations in the international arena or in the national government has been just so rewarding. He picked Texas A&M because of a solid alignment of values. If you look at the stated core values of Texas A&M, honor, duty, service, and others, they are 100% aligned with the values that my father not only believed in, but he lived in every aspect of his life.
The Bush School of Government and Public Service was founded on the philosophy of President George H.W. Bush that public service is a noble calling. Throughout our brief 25-year history, that philosophy has been reflected in the Bush School's curriculum, its research, and in the exceptional engagement of its students and faculty.
They choose us because they want to serve, and they come here and they just magnify that feeling.
The level of the students that we have in the Bush School there's no comparison in any other program that I've seen.
The classmates have been outstanding, a full breadth of, all over the U.S. in different fields. And just that perspective, that different perspective from my classmates has been eye-opening to me.
Our students realize that it is a noble calling. And I can't see that more in action than here in the Bush School.
The Bush School helps solidify that sense of purpose. I think for every graduate, you can't walk away from the experience without feeling like you have a calling and you have a purpose that you are put on earth for.
Our nation's 41st president envisioned the Bush School as a place to equip public servants for careers in the highest levels of government and nonprofit institutions. He wanted to create a place that would prepare future leaders for careers in communities large and small, in state and local governments, and across the globe. And he believed that students should not have to pay a high price to receive a stellar educational experience.
I really felt inspired to serve through my time at the Bush School, so that led to my first job in the Directorate of Intelligence at the CIA. Once I got there, I had a lot more confidence than I think I would have without the Bush School, because it wasn't learning just for the sake of learning. It was learning to be able to go out and make a difference. And thinking about the former president, that's what he was all about.
My Bush School experience really helped me build a foundation of really understanding and navigating bureaucracy better.
It's trained my ability both in data analysis as well as my writing and oral presentation skills to fulfill a role in the professional setting.
And so not only are you learning public policy, but you're learning people. And you're learning how to be a real public servant to people and understand how to work with people.
In September 1997, the Bush School's Robert H. and Judy Leigh Allen building opened its doors to a cohort of 12 students. The building stands adjacent to the George H.W. Bush Presidential Library and the private apartment frequently used by President and Mrs. Bush until just months before the former First Lady's death. It was not uncommon for the Bush School students to see the former first couple walking the grounds of the Texas A&M campus.
It's just amazing to have had a former President of the United States walk into a classroom and sit down and start talking to the students. His involvement was important for establishing the principles that continue on, and we hope for the life of the school.
For me, as a former government official, he personified public service, the sense of statesmanship, the decency, the honor, the civility. And that carries on here. And we try to infuse that in all of our students. And we know it's working because they leave here with that same value set.
Today, the influence of President and Mrs. Bush is still felt by Bush School students as they attend classes on the College Station campus, online from anywhere in the world, or at the Bush School DC in the heart of the nation's capital. Classes began at this Washington teaching site in January 2021. The Bush School DC is located just blocks from the White House and some of our country's most important landmarks.
The Bush School of Government and Public Service should be in the nation's capital. If you want to be part of national security infrastructure, you want to be part of the intelligence community, then you can do that here.
DC is the world stage. It is a premier environment where countries all over the world come together. It's not often where universities are able to have that global presence and have that global impact, and I think Texas A&M coming to DC does exactly that.
The Bush School of Government and Public Service prides itself on developing public servants of exceptional character and principled leaders. Students are drawn to the Bush School's small classes and their ability to engage with faculty members who are also practitioners in their fields and well-regarded thought leaders.
It was the only place I looked because I looked to 41 as the model of public service. And there was something inside me that stirred, that drew me to public service, and I knew that was the calling. That was you hear it sometimes as a cliche, but it's really a true calling, a deep within feeling that says, this is what I want to do with my life. This is what I'm meant to do. So when I came to the Bush School, I understood that I was with other people who might be answering that same call, and we had a common purpose.
Professors that are very involved and are experts in the things that they study, and so they serve as a wealth of knowledge that I'm always able to go to.
The professors here at the Bush School, their character, their integrity, their guidance, their leadership abilities, their knowledge is far beyond what I ever dreamed I would encounter going back to school.
After coming to the Bush School, I realized that my training here and my time here gave me a frame for how to view the world. While being at the Bush School, I actually really bought into this idea that public service is a noble calling. And it's not just for federal government work, but it's also for state, and more importantly for me as a human, it was about my community and how I could be engaged in my community and helping people even in the smallest ways.
Texas A&M University connects Bush School students with a vast network of former students in every part of the world. Like their fellow Aggies, Bush School students stand ready and eager to answer the call to serve, embracing the founding principles of the school's past, while eagerly helping to build its future.
Our students come here because that's who they are. They want to go do that kind of work. They want to make a difference. And so when you have a college that for the first 25 years of its existence has sent at least 70% of every graduating class into the public service arena, that is a remarkable thing, and it is an incredible gift to communities, cities, states, and the nation.
And that idea that public service matters, that asking the hard questions and challenging yourself to be your best, not for yourself, but for the betterment of mankind. As long as we do that, the Bush School is going to continue to do good work globally for generations and generations to come.